Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is by request. Somebody sent me an email and asked me if I could do a video on maintaining mindset after a bad night's sleep. So, we'll get to that in a minute. Hope everybody's well. As I always say, let your body relax so that your breathing can take on a natural pace. Shouldn't be forced. Just allow it to slow down. It's a great message of safety. And it's something that's really easy to do pretty much any time. And for the folks who say, I can't relax, focus on the safety over time. The brain will allow you to allow yourself to relax. But if you're bound up and it's really you're fighting against the tension, don't fight. We can't force it. We can allow it. So, I was up early this morning. So a topic on maintaining mindset after a sleepless night is kind of on point. Been a little bit tired today, so I'm going to sleep early tonight. So mindset. What is the mindset? The mindset is, I'm actually okay. I'm not broken. Not broken mentally, physically, emotionally. I know that I'm okay. That's the mindset. I know I'm safe. The mindset of indifference is something I've talked about for a long time, where you can say, yeah, I've got symptoms, but I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I've got symptoms, but I don't care. Indifference really means showing little to no concern. And so, how do you maintain that mindset after you've had a rough night's sleep? Now, some people have more difficult night's sleep than other people. And so, if you are somebody who experiences difficulty with sleeping, that tends to hold a lot of fear before you get in bed, when you wake up in the middle of the night, when you wake up in the morning. There's a lot of prediction that happens. In other words, if you have a lousy night's sleep, oftentimes when we wake up, we predict, oh, my life's going to be awful today. Now, this person who emailed me did not say what their symptoms were, but it really doesn't matter, whether it be pain, digestion, fatigue, you name it. Doesn't matter. The issue, I believe, first of all, with insomnia, sleeplessness in general, is that happens as a result of the brain perceiving danger. If you go to bed scared that you're not going to be able to sleep, and you worry about it, and you think about it, and oh no, you predict a horrible day tomorrow if you don't sleep, or what if I wake up in the middle of the night with or without symptoms, but now I'm awake, and now I can't fall back asleep. And then if I don't fall back asleep, then I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to be exhausted through the rest of my day. Prediction, fear, right? Expecting the worst. So when you climb into bed with all of those predictions and the experience, legitimate experience, I'm not debating that these things don't happen, but if you climb into bed with that experience predicting how it's going to go if you don't sleep, you get into bed and you've got adrenaline, cortisol, stress hormones, because you're stressing out about, boy, I hope I sleep. You climb into your bed and your brain recognizes the stress hormones and goes, whatever you do, danger, don't fall asleep. Okay? So if you wake up in the middle of the night, smile, roll over and say, oh goody, I can lay here more. I'll tell a quick story on insomnia and then I'll try to get to the mindset stuff. Somebody that was in my coaching program when I first got started doing the group almost 2.5 years ago told me that she used to have a real difficult time as a kid falling asleep, and her mom resolved it in one conversation one night. And she was basically told by her mother, who very wisely said, honey, it's okay if you don't fall asleep. As long as you're resting with your eyes closed, you'll get enough rest. You'll be fine tomorrow. And because this was a young child who believed and trusted in her mom, she would lay in bed quietly with her eyes closed and trust that she would be okay whether she slept or not. Well, guess what happened when this little girl lay there quietly, trusting she'd be fine whether she slept or not? She fell asleep. She wasn't stressed out about it. She wasn't worried about it. She wasn't tossing and turning and upset. So I think this little mommy trick of going to sleep and knowing that even if you rest, even without deep sleep, you're going to be okay. Now, scientifically, I know some of you are going to be like, Dan, I've read the studies. We do need deep sleep. I get it. It's all about mindset, right? This video is about mindset. Mindset really sets the tone for how much fear and perceived danger you're going to experience. So I can tell you with certainty, talking to probably a couple hundred people over the years that have had problems sleeping, the more worried they are about not sleeping, the harder it is for them to sleep. And the more upset they are if they wake up in the middle of the night. And then the more of a challenge they have the next day after a rough night of sleep. It's just how it works. So try to create your bed, your bedroom, as a safe haven, a place you look forward to climbing into. And whether you sleep or not, fall in love with laying in bed, nice pillow, nice warm blankets, curling up, and just resting comfortably with your eyes closed. And you may surprise yourself that you fall asleep easier. Another hack that is useful is before you climb into bed, or as soon as you get into bed, go over 3 things from your day that you are very grateful that occurred. Doesn't matter how big or small they are. Do that. Maybe notice 3 things that you got done that you wanted to get done. Don't look at all the bad. Don't look at all the things you didn't do. Don't look at all the things that are wrong with you or wrong with your life. Focus on 3 things you're grateful for and 3 things you got done. Progress makes us happy, so if we can start to shift our attention towards progress, we're going to be happier. We're going to focus on gratitude. And we're going to lay quietly with our eyes closed, trusting we'll get enough rest regardless. And with that little kind of a preparation, you're going to probably sleep great. Now here's the deal. If you wake up, don't freak out. Smile. Oh, goody. I can go back to sleep. I can get more rest. Isn't that wonderful? It's all attitude, folks. It's all mindset. And let's say you do have a rough night of sleep and you wake up the next day. If you've got a pattern of bad night's sleep and thereby the next day having a really rough day with fatigue, with symptoms, pain, anything else that you've got going on, recognize that the reason for that might be this much sleep, this much perceived danger. So the stories we tell ourselves about all this stuff is really critical, really important. Now, I've talked to people who have really gotten by with very little sleep for years. And they still made it. Was it challenging? Yes. And I'm not saying, any of this was their fault. I'm just saying, their stories and their subconscious brain getting into bed afraid, adrenaline, cortisol was working against them, made it harder. But what you can do is if you wake up after a rough night's sleep, or if you are awake and don't get a good night's sleep, watch your stories. What are you telling yourself? Are you predicting how horrible the day's going to go as a result? Or do you take a mindset of indifference? Okay, didn't get a good night's sleep. I'll catch up tomorrow. And I do think that the body has an innate brilliance in that at a certain point in time, your brain, your body will just go, you need to sleep. And we crash, right? I sometimes find that happening. Sometimes I'll find myself sitting on this couch here, falling asleep. So what do? That's my body's cue. Get some rest. If I need to do something in a little while, I'll set an alarm. lay down and allow myself to sleep for a little bit. At night, shut off the light, put the phone down, and allow myself to drift off to sleep. But the mindset is really created by the stories we tell ourselves. So what? Not a big deal is way better than, oh no, I had a horrible night's sleep. I'm going to hurt more. I'm going to be more exhausted. My fatigue's going to flare. Everything else is going to be awful. I won't be able to do this, that, or that. I can guarantee you, if that's your story upon waking up, your day's going to be a lot more challenging as a result. So what would happen if you woke up and told yourself a better story? Trust that you will catch up and sleep when you get out of the fear. Fearing sleep is really what makes it so hard. I did a video a while back that said trying, the key word, trying to sleep is like chasing a cat. The harder you try, the faster the cat runs away. The harder you try to sleep, the harder it gets, because you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Sleep is something that we should allow to happen. And I will give you just this suggestion. If you've got a dog or a cat, notice how they fall asleep. Do they try? Maybe they'll, do a circle or two and then lay down, but then they fall asleep. Notice a kid when they fall asleep. Sometimes kids will fight to sleep because they don't want to sleep. We want to sleep, and we're fighting against it. But notice when a kid falls asleep, they just go still. You notice their breathing. Becomes more full, more natural. Their body goes limp, very much relaxed. So notice that sleep happens when it's not interrupted. Put your phone down. You don't want that bright blue light in your face right before you try to go to sleep. The phone light basically screams, it's daytime, it's noon, get up, right? So minimize that. An hour or two before bed, put your phone down, don't look at it. Minimize screens, grab a real book with pages and paper, start reading. To me, that's a sleeping pill. If I grab a real book and start reading, inevitably I'm a few pages in and I'm falling asleep with the book on my chest. Get away from the screens. Get away from violent television before you try to go to sleep. Anything really aggravating or adrenaline producing, try to avoid that stuff. If you don't like watching the news, don't put it on at night. If you're addicted and you need the news, put it on in the morning when you're getting ready for your day. But don't watch news that's going to piss you off right before you try to go to sleep. It's just firing you up. But the mindset, how to maintain a good mindset after a bad night's sleep, just know that even regardless of your history with bad night's sleep, you've got a 100% track record of making it through a rough day after a good night, or after a rough night's sleep. You'll make it through today too. Don't add to the problem with more stories that predict a horrible day. I know that's all based on your experience. But we can change our experience today with a better mindset. So be aware of the stories and make a firm decision not to fall into that trap again. Hope this makes sense. A little bit of talk on insomnia, sleeplessness, some tricks, some techniques. But the key phrase is all these tricks and techniques are little tools. But at the end of the day, fear, perceived danger, is what really gets in the way of more sleep than anything else that I'm aware of. So I hope this helps. Hope this makes sense for the person who requested the video. Thank you. Pretty interesting topic. But maintaining mindset after a sleepless night. It's awareness, it's decision, it's stories, it's reducing the fear. Don't predict based on, the last time you had a sleepless night and how difficult your day was afterwards. And if you notice that, say, well, how was my mindset then? Probably not great. The story was predicting the worst. So how can you change that moving forward? Know that the worst doesn't happen if you maintain a proper mindset. But if you're waiting for yourself to have a great day after a sleepless night before your mindset shifts, that's backwards. Mindset needs to lead the way. Allow it to lead the way by developing a solid mindset. So, going to wrap it up there. Hope everybody's doing well. I love you, and as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.